Hello folks, Alexa Baroda here. If you're new here, I'm a new high school English teacher this year, but I'm not new to the game. I've been teaching middle school for 7 years. In this vlog, I like to share some of my experiences, offer some teaching tips, and maybe a spoonful of encouragement here and there. You're going to see a few clips of my week, and I just feel that I should let you know that my original plan was I was going to create a video about much of the stress teachers tend to deal with at the end of the school year and how I like to alleviate some of that stress, just kind of how I manage it and what I do. But it quickly took a turn. This particular week, there was a lot of what I'd already said. Violence. All week has just been this feeling of enough is enough. If you were to take a sort of surface level observation of the teachers, of the staff, of the security, of the admin, everyone still looks pleasant. Everyone looks fine. But if you took it a little deeper and had conversations with everyone, you will find that we are sickened by the events this week. We are exhausted, students included. I believe that all schools go through seasons, and right now we are just in this funk of a season. There's no real purpose behind these vlogs except to just provide you with some insight on what a day in the life of a teacher or within a school can sometimes look like. I'm slightly apprehensive to share some of these vlogs with you because looking at them now, I can see that I'm stating my feelings and opinions from a place of exhaustion, maybe even a place of a bit of anger. Part of me feels that I'm being extra, but at the same time, that's how I felt in the moment. And I think there's some truth to still feeling that way now, only if I were to talk about it now, I think I would have worded it a little bit better. I had the hardest time focusing this week, and I think I've said enough, so come check out my week. I did not plan on vlogging today. I was supposed to stay after school. My husband's gonna pick up the kids and I was gonna get lots of grading done because I'm giving finals much earlier than usual because I don't feel like dealing with the absenteeism and catching students up. Yeah, I still have 20 students I have to catch up. Anyway, so I was supposed to stay after today and grade. I can't do it. Instead, I got food to eat my stress, coffee, and I think I'm gonna get my nails done. Do you see them? I got my nails done for my birthday over a month ago. I'm good, I'm hanging in there, I'm getting everything else done that I need to get done, but I just feel like how I look. I think I'm mostly drained just from students' lack of engagement and participation, and I am not blaming myself. I have done everything that I can do, but a lot of these kids are just over it, and if they're choosing not to come to school and then they come and they don't know what they're doing, like, I can't blame myself for that. In addition to that, I was warned that late spring is a high time for fights. It's the season for fighting. There were 2 fights this morning. There was a fight last week. The videos are being passed. I hear about it in the hallway. I see the students running in the hallway. It just went missing. We've lost students this year to gun violence, drug overdose, suicide. It is just a lot. I did decide to pull over on my way to work. I just dropped my kids off at daycare to just say a word. So I did get my nails done yesterday. It was a super stressful day, treated myself. And while I'm there getting my nails done, breaking news, Robb Elementary School, at the time it was 14 kids had died. Now it's 19, and 2 teachers died from the shooting. I'm sure you've heard in Texas. And I just want to say something about that. It is so heavy on my heart, as I'm sure it is on yours. I mean, I just dropped my daughter off at daycare, and as I'm walking her into the school, I'm literally thinking to myself that no school is safe. If any psycho with a gun wants to come in and shoot up a school, I think that they can figure it out. It happens all the time. We hear about it year after year. I deal with a lot of gun violence in my district. I think some days, it could take it, I could talk about it. And then there are days like today where it just really bothers me, and I'm just in the mood where it's like, I don't even care if I'm late. I'm just in this daze. I even had a nightmare last night that I was in the middle of teaching, an intruder came in with a gun, we all had to go into the gym, and the security guard was screaming that there was nothing security could do and that we all had to just run for it. As much as I hate watching the news because it makes me feel like this, I feel that we owe it to these kids to listen, to see their faces, to think about what happened. I feel guilty ignoring, which is usually what I do. I hate the news. I feel that there are two conversations to be had. There's the conversation around gun violence, gun laws, and then there's another conversation around gun violence in school, mass shootings, and the frequency in which they are happening here in this country. My fear is that we're going to become so desensitized to it that when we hear about it happening, we forget about it, because that's kind of what I'm used to experiencing here in this Title I school that I work in. We experience all types of gun violence and overdoses and suicides, and we experience this, and it should be big news, but it's not. Some students aren't even shocked, or you talk to other teachers about it and everyone's just kind of like, yeah, it's awful. Just fear that, eventually, these school shootings, they're not going to be explosive news anymore. Our students, these kids, they have a lot to say right now about what happened yesterday, about shootings in general, about gun violence in general, about what's going on in their communities in general, whether they are raising their hands or shouting their opinion or sitting in silence. It's so important that we're asking the questions, that we're getting the conversation started, and even the ones who are sitting in silence, allowing them to think and be in silence with their thoughts. Even that has an impact. I just kind of want to be there for them today to process what's going on and process this podcast analysis that we're doing. If I felt that it was too heavy and too much, I would certainly stop. I will certainly stop, but I think that we'll be fine. They're a bit older and they're sadly used to talking about this, so I think that we'll be fine. I'm secretly trying to create activists out of them. We really need some gun violence activists around here. I'm getting ready to head out for the day. I was finally able to take my focus off of all that's going on for a little while, but then I saw a photo of one of our Trenton police officers holding the hands of two elementary school kids. From today, I can't even talk. I have my son in the car right now. I'm killing time waiting to go in for an appointment. I've been super emotional on and off all day, mostly when I start thinking about the families of the kids. I've been thinking a lot about just my job as a teacher and our jobs as teachers, and how much our job takes from us. Like, I already knew, but like today, it's just something else. Teaching is hard work. It's hard work, but it's hard work. We have to wear so many hats and process so much all day, every day. I actually do a lot of work around, let's just say, my mental health and my morning routines, and just, being very conscientious about what I'm thinking about and where I'm putting my energy. I do a lot of work around that to be able to do this job. Can't help but just recognize that teaching has become a dangerous job. I guarantee you, every teacher watching this knows at least one teacher who has been kicked, pushed, somebody threw something at them. And let's say that I'm wrong and that you have not experienced or do not know any student who has put their hands on a teacher. What about, I guarantee you that you have had 1, 2, 3 students in your life, or known someone in your school who you're a little extra nice to, you're a little extra empathetic to, because you fear that they might do something one day. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Honestly, if anyone asked me right now, What do I have to do for you to feel safe in school? I would say there's nothing you can do. There are things that you can do to help make me feel safer, but safe? We don't walk around day after day after day thinking that there's going to be an intruder. Who wants that mindset? How much are we paying these security guards? And I think a lot of us don't want to say things like, it'll never be safe, because it's so final. We're supposed to see the silver lining. I don't feel safe. You want to actually give me a metal detector that works? Great. What are you going to do about the windows that they could get through, or the unlocked doors, or the unmarked territories? Schools don't have enough staff to be able to monitor in this way. They just don't. Does this mean that I go to school every day in fear? Does it mean I'm going to go to school in fear tomorrow? No, it doesn't. But there's always a sense of it. At least for me, it's one of the reasons why we work very hard not to be reactive in situations. In a way, I'm taking chances every single day. I'm not choosing to think about it every single day or every single second, but it's there. Every day there's a possibility something could happen. It is currently a very quiet Friday at my school. All of my shades are down, including the one by my door. My door is locked. There have been cops, undercover cops, various staff members, our security team, all circulating the school all day long. Dogs. Yesterday after school, as I was leaving my classroom, I noticed there was a lot of commotion going on. In short, a lot of fights broke out yesterday after school, and I noticed some of the aftermath located by the nurse's office. It seemed like everybody was involved in de-escalating the situation. Lots of staff members, the security. I even saw a kid running around the building. A few hours later, emails started circulating from our administrators making us aware that there were social media threats being made and that it was being investigated. We were told of the fighting, so that was something else I like that they did. I just felt like we were made aware of the situation pretty quickly. A lot of the narrative was left out, but when you aren't 100% sure what's going on, you aren't so quick to put pen to paper, so I do kind of understand that. I actually learned from one of my students that there were threats being made to shoot up our school today. Just all types of things were being thrown around social media. Don't come to school. You can just imagine. We were made aware that police would be here. There'd be all types of precautionary measures being taken. We'd lock our doors, and that everybody was just going to be on high alert today. With 65 teachers being out today, you know that I had to cover a class. The class that I covered was actually the highlight of my day because it was an ESL class, and it was very nostalgic. When I was in middle school, I used to teach bilingual language. Class sizes today were small. I had about 3 to 8 students in each of my classes with rosters of 24. During my lunch, I had 2 students in here, and we just talked about what happened in Texas, what's going on in our school right now, and they even shared stories about what's happened previous years. Disturbing stories, but I'm glad that they shared them with me, and it was a very enlightening conversation for everyone involved. My student, right, her sister is a teacher and she works at a nearby elementary school, and she was telling me how yesterday her sister was so upset because her elementary school, they held a shelter in place, and her students started crying because they thought that what happened in Texas at Robb Elementary School was going to happen to them. So they're crying, and they ask her questions along the lines of, well, like, what are we going to do? How are you going to keep us safe? And then her sister started crying. The teacher started crying. How does that not break your heart? She then shared a 9th grade story with me about how one of her classmates, based off of a dare, sent an airdrop text message to their teacher threatening to kill their teacher. What are these kids thinking? Like, nobody prepares. You cannot prepare yourself for what could happen on a daily basis when you're here. And then it happens, and everybody wants to overanalyze what the adult in the room did. I mean, I wake up this morning, catch up on an email update to see what is going on, and have to make a decision. Do I take the risk, go to school, and just hope that it is an empty threat or that, you know, everything's being taken care of? Or do I stay home and not put myself in that predicament because I have a family who I need to consider? Who wants to wake up and have to make that decision? And am I fretting over it? No, but somewhere in me, it is draining my energy just a little. School is supposed to be a place where kids feel safe, where they come to explore and to learn and to enjoy, hopefully. Yet school, I feel like over time has just it's becoming a target for people to take out their mental instability. I'm gonna end with this. If you're a teacher out there and lately, particularly this week, one second you're your usual tower of strength self, but the next, you're struggling a little bit. Maybe you break down here and there. I feel you. That's not usually me, but that has been me this week, and I'm not used to this. I could walk to my car right now and think back to a picture I saw earlier today of all those kids in their classroom with their teacher at Robb Elementary School and start to feel sick to my stomach and the tears just start coming. When my students are trying to talk to me and show me pictures and I'm like, hold it down, don't let them see you get emotional. I am out of the school building, ready to celebrate my Memorial Day weekend, and there's a tornado warning. And everybody seems to be in a shelter in place. I did it. If you are watching this, that means I actually posted this video online. It took just a little bit of courage for me to post this one. In retrospect, in the moments of the vlogging, I spared myself more time spending looking at photos from Robb Elementary School that just saddened me to the core, or reading social media posts of what's going on in my own school with students within my own school, or, you know, what parents are saying about how schools should be run and what schools should be doing. And while their intentions are great, clearly do not know what goes on within a school and the way that things work. We have limitations, restrictions, lack of funds, lack of staff. Oftentimes, teachers are blamed, staff's blamed, administrators are blamed, the superintendent is blamed. And I just feel that many people do not understand that what you want and your ideas, we have the same ideas. It is what we want too. But we don't make those types of decisions. Instead of targeting us, you should take all of that and give it to the government. I've been seeing one post after the next in regards to that one mandate that we should implement that would change everything, or what that one thing our school should do and it would solve all the problems. If that were the case, it would be done. I am so full of rebuttals right now that I'm just biting my tongue on because they turn into these rabbit hole conversations. And as much as I enjoy having conversations with everyone, the real conversations that need to be had are with leaders, and we need to be writing letters and stop just sharing what we don't even entirely. Most districts are doing the very best they can with the resources provided to them. Unfortunately, it comes down to money. We signed up for this job because we enjoy working with kids. As their teachers, we owe it to them to keep figuring it out, no matter how hard it gets. But we also owe it to ourselves to do what we need to do to take care of ourselves, to give ourselves some grace, to take care of our families, to be us. You know, we are more than just teachers. And I think that society puts so much pressure on us to be this all-encompassing teacher and model for our students, but we are also people. And right now I am just on this ride of I'm gonna do what I need to do for me. Honestly, I think I just need a break. I need a little recharge. Oftentimes that's all it takes, right? And then we're right back to figuring it out. But I'm just telling you that if you're having a hard time, you do what you need to do to take care of yourself. No judgment. Don't pass judgment on yourself. Whew, I think I said plenty. Oh, and if you actually got through all of that, thank you for watching.